In the following, you will witness live how Evalanche and CAS genesisWorld interact to guide and control a prototypical customer journey. It starts with GDPR-compliant lead generation, followed by automated lead nurturing via email, SMS, and social media. Then the lead is transferred to CAS genesisWorld via an interface where it triggers further sales-related processes. What's special about this demo is that we're running it in near real time. Almost everything you will see is recorded live and uncut. Why do this? To demonstrate the seamless interplay between Evalanche and CAS genesisWorld and their nearly limitless capabilities. What sets the participating systems apart? For 20 years, Evalanche has been known for GDPR-compliant, automated, highly individualized, multi-channel, real-time communication made in Germany. Whether a small company, a medium-sized business, or a large organization, CAS genesisWorld has been on the market for 25 years, offering a solid, future-proof, and scalable CRM and AI solution that fits right from the start and grows with your company. Today, the customer journey typically begins in a search engine of choice. As we are at the start of our buyer's journey, we use a very generic search phrase: B2B customer acquisition. Paid results appear first on the search engine result page, followed by organic results. And here we find an SC Networks Evalanche landing page that piques our interest. Let's take a closer look and open the page. As we scroll, we come across compelling information, and at the bottom is an ebook that catches our attention. Let's click on that. We land on a CMS-based landing page with an integrated form, the first of the touchpoints on our customer journey managed by Evalanche. Evalanche offers various technical options for form integration, from a simple iframe to mirror forms to a dedicated form API. Here, our lead, Maxima Musterfrau, signs up. GDPR-compliant handling of personal and non-personal information is part of Evalanche's DNA. Accordingly, the form requests not only marketing consent, but also tracking permission, in compliance with both GDPR and e-privacy regulation. We tick both boxes to consent. Let's also select an industry. This information will later be used for the exemplary individualization of emails. As we'll see later, this information is also stored during synchronization in CAS genesisWorld. For now, let's submit the form and see a confirmation and a thank you page. We will revisit the form later. How has the new lead been registered in Evalanche? We switch directly to Evalanche's Marketing Cockpit, where all functionalities and statistics related to email marketing and marketing automation are available. Thus, the newly generated profile immediately appears in the Success area of the Marketing Cockpit. We notice the profile has not yet confirmed the double opt-in email and cannot be addressed yet. Let's change this by switching to the email client to complete the double opt-in process. We find the double opt-in email in the inbox, click Confirm, and return to the Marketing Cockpit. After reloading, we see the lead's status has changed to OK, and we can now legally address the person. Before proceeding, let's examine what data has been collected so far. This is essential because this data will drive further actions along the buyer's journey. We switch to the profile view. The profile's history displays all lead activities. For example, interactions during lead generation with the form and the double opt-in email. This information evaluates the lead's engagement and enables even more precise target group selections based on behavioral data. An important aspect of lead management is activity scoring. Points are awarded for the profile's activities based on a scoring matrix. The scoring allows for the control of logics and content depending on predefined thresholds, a proven best practice. In our live demo, activity scoring points were assigned for submitting the form and clicking the double opt-in. Later in our live customer journey, other important touchpoints will also lead to corresponding scoring values. Specifically, scoring steers the handover of leads to CAS genesisWorld. Stay tuned to see how this works. Let's go back to our customer journey now. Meanwhile, the email with the content piece that we had requested at our first touchpoint has arrived. The mailing was created quickly and easily using Evalanche power sets and guarantees maximum compatibility with all common email clients. Little spoiler ahead, in the near future, there will be a completely redesigned content designer that provides an even better experience and is also AI enabled. Here and now, we open the email in the web browser to demonstrate the important aspect of personalization. One central aspect of Evalanche's template mechanics is the ability to personalize content. For this purpose, individual content elements of the mailing are linked with configured target groups. If the profile currently opening an email meets the criteria of a target group, content tailored to the profile is displayed. To demonstrate this, let's switch back to the initial form from the beginning. Suppose our lead had chosen a different industry at the beginning, for example, the option industry. We select it and resubmit the form so that the profile is updated in Evalanche. If we now reload the mailing, the change in industry triggers personalized content components accordingly. Of course, other master data stored in the profile, as well as behavioral data, could also be used for targeted customization. Next, we click the Call to Action button to download the white paper. You may recall, this was something we had requested at the beginning of the lead management process. Evalanche Leadpage is an easy way for the editor to create landing pages without the need for programming knowledge and without the need to use a website CMS. For this Evalanche object, any subdomains can be assigned. Thus, when the user calls up the URL, they always have the impression of interacting directly with the company's pages. To conclude the first sub-process of our prototypical customer journey, we now download the white paper. While we've gone through the consent process and had the requested asset sent to us, other processes have already been initiated in the background. The new lead has been automatically synchronized to CAS genesisWorld. Synchronizing a lead to the CRM system when a certain maturity level is reached is a best practice in lead management. Therefore, it's very important to be able to define simply and flexibly when the synchronization occurs. In this case, a smart way was chosen to ensure this flexibility. For this, the Evalanche target groups are used. Target groups allow complex combinations of conditions relating to both master data and activities. If a lead fulfills these conditions, they automatically fall into the target group. The synchronization with CAS genesisWorld is configured in a way that all profiles that fall into a certain target group are automatically transferred to the CRM. What does this target group look like in detail in our example? Let's find out. For that, we switch to Evalanche's Marketing Core and from there to the relevant target group. As you can see, configuring the target group is simple. In our example, the only condition defined there is that a certain score threshold has been reached. This is, as already mentioned, best practice in lead management. Of course, Any other combination of criteria could also be chosen to decide when the lead sync to CAS genesisWorld should occur. This flexibility makes sense because every company implements its own unique lead management processes. If we click on Profiles, we also see that our new lead has already dynamically fallen into the target group. Now we take the perspective of the sales department, which mainly works in the CRM. Here, the further processing of the lead will take place. For this purpose, we've also already created a small sales cockpit, which compiles various relevant information. The app designer provided by CAS genesisWorld offers an easy-to-use yet powerful tool to configure individual views and apps. As you can see, in our sales cockpit, the leads that were transferred from Evalanche a moment ago are displayed. In addition, various KPIs are represented based on the information originating from the marketing automation system. For example, how many of the leads have reached certain scoring thresholds, or how leads with a score over 50 points are distributed across different industries, or the opportunities related to the industries. Let's take a detailed look at the information that has been transmitted so far. For this, we open the view of the new dataset in CAS genesisWorld. In a profile overview, specific information from the profile's activity is displayed. For example, which form was used to generate the lead and what is the status of the consent. The information about the industry was placed on the Company Information tile. Please keep in mind, this is just an example. Of course, any other fields can also be included in the synchronization. In addition, a deep link to the corresponding profile in Evalanche was generated. If we enter our credentials here, we land in the already known profile view of Evalanche. We've already seen this area at the beginning of our prototypical customer journey. Here, all data related to the involved objects, as well as information on scoring and data protection, can be found. But let's return to the CRM back to CAS genesisWorld. We again take the perspective of a sales employee. For example, we now want to supplement the address for the newly generated contact. So we provide the street, the postal code, and the city will be automatically completed. Voila! This new information will also appear in the Evalanche profile in a few minutes. Before we look at that, it's worth taking a look at the file for the new lead, because there are additional entries that were created the moment the lead was saved in CAS genesisWorld. So an automatic task was created, the lead was assigned to a dummy account, a survey was created, and last but not least, a sales opportunity was created based on the lead. These subsequent processes were all set up and configured with the rule and action service of CAS genesisWorld. The event that triggered these tasks was the moment when a new lead from Evalanche was created. Time for a quick recap. What did you experience so far with Evalanche and CAS genesisWorld? Well, the initial phases of the customer journey, a lead was generated in compliance with data protection. The lead was then nurtured through various channels so we could qualify the lead, and then the information was transferred to CAS genesisWorld. In the CRM, subsequent actions were triggered. But what are the options when a lead or contact needs to be addressed later in the customer journey? How do we proceed, for example, if we want to send a newsletter to an existing customer or invite them to an event? That's no problem either. In the later phase of the buyer's journey, the communication processes usually start within the CRM. All we need to do there is select the contacts we would like to address via the marketing automation tool. And for that, we use a standard function in CAS genesisWorld, the distribution lists. Let's say we want to invite a specific group of people to an event in the Munich area. First off, we select the appropriate contacts. For a better overview, we already prepared this beforehand. Now we add a new filter criterion to this view to limit the selection to contacts from a specific postal code area, for example, 8. And voila, here are the potential recipients for our event invitation. Now we just need to mark the most interesting contacts and then assign them to a distribution list of the type Evalanche. We've already created this distribution list in advance. We click on Distribution Lists, click on Add Distribution List, select the distribution list for the event invitation, and we're done. Why is that? Because all contacts assigned to a distribution list of the type Evalanche will automatically be transferred to Evalanche during the next sync run. While we wait for the contacts to appear in Evalanche, let's take a look there to see how the process will continue. On our quick journey through lead management, we've now arrived at another central function, the creation of automated workflows. In marketing automation, access to these elements is made via the Communication tab of the Marketing Cockpit. In the context of our scenario, the event invitation campaign is important. The context that we just added to the distribution list in CAS genesisWorld will soon appear here. What exactly happens in the campaign? If we look at the starting point more closely, we can see that it is triggered by the tag event invitation. This field value was automatically set by the interface during synchronization and corresponds to the distribution list used in CAS genesisWorld. This configuration ensures that the members of a distribution list created in CAS genesisWorld are directly handed over to a campaign in Evalanche without you having to intervene manually. We will take another look at this on a profile level shortly. What happens next in the workflow? Once the contacts have entered the workflow, they first receive a so-called milestone. This element marks the individual strands of the customer journey that the profiles have gone through. This way, the individual paths can be visually evaluated afterwards. In a second step, the event invitation is sent. After that, it's checked whether another communication channel should be addressed for the respective profile, for example, the SMS channel. If this is the case, the profile follows the green strand and a text message is sent. Otherwise, it continues along the red strand. Before the SMS node, a so-called key performance indicator is installed. In this case, it evaluates live how many % of the profiles have taken the upper path. Then another milestone is set. Finally, the profile is handed over to another workflow. This could, for example, aim to engage the customer with tailored content during the event. A real event campaign would, of course, be more sophisticated. Our example serves only to demonstrate a few best practices. Additionally, Evalanche also offers other possibilities to engage leads, contacts, or existing customers at other touchpoints. The social media push function allows you to also publish content on other social media networks. However, in this live demonstration, we intentionally left out these options as we are mainly demonstrating the interplay of Evalanche and CAS genesisWorld. So before we look at how the manual control of communication processes in the marketing automation system works, let's check if the address information we stored in CAS genesisWorld for the newly generated lead has actually been transferred. And we want to see whether the contact for the event has also been transferred. Don't forget, we're in almost real-time and live mode. The changes to the records were made only about 5 minutes ago. Here we see that the new address of our Maxima Musterfrau is now available in Evalanche for further use. And here is also the newly created contact from CAS genesisWorld. Let's spend a moment on the profile data to take a closer look. Here we can see which fields have been set by the connector in the background for the profile. In the tab for the connector, it is noticeable that a unique option with a name and ID is added to the multi-select field Distributor ID for each transferred CAS genesisWorld distributor. In our profile, a checkbox is set, meaning the record has exactly one distributor in CAS genesisWorld. It's the one we've just added. Of course, further communication with the contacts in Evalanche can also be designed as a manual process. All we have to do is configure the appropriate target group. We can then, for example, send a newsletter or an invitation. We can take care of this in the Evalanche Marketing Core. From there, we open the mailing that we would like to send out to our CAS genesisWorld distribution list. For example, this event invitation. We click on the mailing, and in the Transmission tab, we select the target group Event Invitation. Clicking on the pencil shows us that the criterion of the target group is the distributor flag transferred from CAS genesisWorld. Thus, the target group automatically contains all the profiles previously transferred from the CRM. We click on Preview and then on Send. Automatically, the preview is opened where, in just a little bit, live openings and clicks will be registered. But how is it recorded in CAS genesisWorld which mailings have been sent using Evalanche? Well, quite simply, as the recipients are based on a CAS genesisWorld distribution list, this information is stored in the distribution list file. As of version X1426 and X1516 of CAS genesisWorld, this information will also be stored in the contacts file. So to conclude our buyer's journey, let's open CAS genesisWorld one more time. We click on the Distribution List app, select the distribution list Event Invitation, and in the file of the distribution list, we can see all the Evalanche mailings that have been sent to the distribution list. As you can see, it's easy to control the customer journey with both automated and manual processes across two systems: Evalanche as a marketing automation tool and CAS genesisWorld as a CRM system. Both systems, of course, also have numerous mechanisms for creating statistics and reports for the most critical KPIs. Showing all of them now, however, would go a little bit beyond the scope of our little live demo. Please get in touch with us if you have any further questions about this or any other topics. We look forward to speaking with you.